Good morning, coyotes, Martians, and roadrunners. Sorry, it's Thursday. Honestly, the days are really blurring together, so yeah, apologies. Let me continue. I enjoyed reading your haikus yesterday, the signs of spring, and some of the COVID-19 ones. Just a quick note, I was hoping that the COVID-19 ones would be sort of funny and help, lift us out of this really dark time. And they were actually really sad. And I can tell that you all are feeling very isolated and lonely, and perhaps a little sad as well, especially given the news we received last night. So it's not too late to submit your haiku and/or your COVID-19 poem. Um, Miss Agel reached out to me yesterday and said, "Hey, I heard that you are doing a poem of the day and that you are having your kids write Signs of Spring haikus. I would love to do a feature on the Poem Booth, which is now a live Google site. Do you think you'd be interested?" And I said, "Heck yeah, I'm interested. Let me just ask my kids." So, if it's okay for me to use your haiku and get in touch with Miss Agel, let me know. Go ahead and send me a message on the chat, send me an email, or let me know in some way. Please and thank you. Even on your Google Doc, that would work as well. Okay, so for today's work, we're going to turn back to argumentative writing. And wow, I am very impressed with your argumentative skills so far. Clearly, you all have it in you to get what you want, and that is hugely important. So, the first day, I asked you to decide if you would like to live a life of pleasure without relief of pain, or sorry, with relief of pain medication, or a life of pain without any access to relief of pain medication. And overwhelmingly, most said that a life of pain, would be much more preferable. Now, yesterday, I had you look at everyone else's arguments so that you could get a sense of what other students are thinking, and you had to pull out the top arguments and explain why they were effective. Guys, I cannot convey to you how impressed I am with your analytical work yesterday. So I'm going to throw a little plot twist your way. Surprise, surprise. I came across this woman slash article yesterday and even last year. Her name is Jo Cameron. She's 71. She lives in the UK, and she has some sort of genetic mutation that prevents her from experiencing any sort of psychological or physical pain. And she has shared her story with the world, and people are fascinated and curious by it. So I am going to share this article by the New York Times with you. It's actually a student opinion article, and it kind of summarizes the overall New York Times article. It came out last year in March. Feel free to watch this video if you want. It's kind of weird. She talks about her experience with childbirth and how she kept, expecting it to be painful and it never was. Yeah, because she has a genetic mutation. Yep, like I said, it's kind of summarized for you. And then down at the bottom, I'm not going to ask you to respond by answering a question or anything, but I would like you to just stop and consider some of these questions. I think they're really thought-provoking. So the first one is, would you want to live a life without ever feeling pain, physical and psychological? You have actually already answered that question, but how about this one? How do you imagine your life would be different? In what ways might you be happier? What growth or development stemming from anxiety or pain might you have missed? Would you choose to live a pain-free life if it meant that you would never experience an adrenaline rush, as Ms. Cameron says she never has? And finally, what role has physical pain played in your life? Do you think you have a high or low threshold for pain? Okay, so it's just some things to think about. For those of you that were on Google Hangouts yesterday, I had mentioned that our read aloud, The Giver, is operating under a bit of a moral code right now. And in philosophical terms, we call that moral code utilitarianism. So here is a little kid-friendly definition, but I will just summarize in my own words. So utilitarianism is this theory basically that one person is sacrificed for the greater good of humanity. It's all about giving happiness to the masses. And so, let me just read the definition because I am stumbling a bit here. So, utilitarianism is a theory in philosophy about right and wrong actions. It says that the morally best action is the one that makes the most overall happiness or utility usefulness. This is not limited to the happiness caused by a single action, but also includes the happiness of all people involved and all future consequences. Okay, so now that I've had a little bit of time to collect my thoughts here, let me give you an example. So say we do like a whole class vote, and I'm like, all right, guys, you're getting popsicles today. Do we want orange or blue? And let's say 75% of the class says blue, and the rest, 25%, say orange. I say, all right, we're going to do blue. So that means the 25% that wanted orange are going to kind of have to sacrifice their happiness so that the happiness of the whole class is served. Okay, I'm not sure if that made sense, but here is where I'm going with all of this. So, given that that is how the society in the giver is operating, here is my question for you today. So, something that I would like you to argue to the best of your ability. So, after you finish reading the New York Times article and consider the pros and cons of living a life with or without pain, I want you to consider the dilemma in the giver. Knowing what you know about pain and pleasure, do you think it is fair that only one person in the community should be trusted to hold the memories of the past before sameness? Okay, so I'd like you to be thoughtful here. Again, I'm looking for probably about a paragraph, which means 5 to 7 sentences. Consider all that you've learned and all that you've researched so far. So, the utilitarianism aspect in The Giver is that the giver, so Jonas's kind of elder, the one who's training him right now, holds all of the memories for that community. And he is only allowed to experience pain and suffering, and that is to ensure that the rest of the community is happy and protected from that. So I guess what I'm really asking is this theory of utilitarianism, is it effective? Is it worth it? Is it fair? Okay, so ready, set, argue, do your best work. Looking forward to seeing you all at 1 o'clock for the read aloud. Bye!